It all began in my teenage years, when I was 14 to be specific. I constantly felt like it was Kelvin Zuze against the world. There was nobody on my side, neither was there an ally to assist me in my frequent emotional and psychological battles. This downward spiral all began with the untimely death of my mother. This was followed by my father getting a stroke, and hot on its heels, the snatching away of my family's wealth by the relatives from my mother's side, shortly after my dear mother's burial. Life was happening faster than I could process it. In a flash, life as I had known it went down the drain, together with everything I knew and loved. Had it not been for my caring grandmother who granted us residence at her home, I still wonder to this day what would have been of our lives from then on. God, why? Why me? In terms of education, none of my relatives wanted to invest in my learning because they disapproved of my performance and learning prowess in school. They deemed me dumb and incapable. At this point, I was simply too hurt to concentrate on anything. My loss got me lost. Deep inside me, I had a longing for love, guidance, support, and words of affirmation from all those close to me, so as to add some warmth to the cold space I found myself in. Sadly, the people who I expected to provide me with this ended up being deaf to my cries for help, but quick to scold me for the things I did wrong. I wish my mother was there to affirm me with and lift me up as she had done time and time again during her time here on earth. But it was Kelvin Zuze against the world. Music, however, was my sweet escape. It was like a dangling rope that could grant me freedom from the pit I had found myself in. I was able to express my deepest desires and emotions through it. It was as if the artist could truly understand what I was going through. The sheer awe and the admiration that shone in the eyes of the listeners gave me the feeling of self-worth, value, and hope. Their words of congratulations and affirmation overpowered my father's complaints and degrading words. I had just discovered what I was going to do with my life. I was going to become a rapper. I ended up in a band called Classmates Music, a name that I had come up with. We had all the niceties like logos and branded t-shirts. In addition, my bandmates weren't just any people. They were friends who I'd grown up with, friends who I trusted and depended on. I, however, still had an empty hole in my heart that I tried to fill with fun, sex, alcohol, and money. But that only lasted for a while, like gas does in a vehicle. It can only take you so far, and soon you will need a refill. The thought of filling station had me stationed. Although I kept moving, I was like a stray bullet without a destination. My new job required me to move away from my friends I had grown up with to my cousin's place, who was a deep Christian and deeply rooted in the faith. Before long, God began hinting his presence through voices in my head. This I knew because it kept on urging me to do good when I was doing the things I knew were wrong. One day, as I was walking home, I was flooded with such strong convictions that tears flooded my eyes. Never before, even when I was sexting or planning to download porn, had I felt such emotion in my heart. God was telling me that I needed to let go. I needed to let go of girls, friends, music, and follow Him. I wrestled with God, trying to find another way, but it was God's will, and my aching heart was desperate and in need of refilling. The next morning, I woke up with tears in my eyes. I was unable to get out of bed, with the words, "It's now or never," resounding over and over in my head. There and then, with my face down, I gave my life to Christ, saying, "God, I will give you a chance. You can have my heart. I surrender everything to you. But if it doesn't work, I need my things back." Almost immediately, I was overwhelmed with the relief and a hunger to know God more. I soon began reading the Bible so as to get to know God more. People in the faith who knew me gave me a deadline for my downfall. My friends from classmates' music didn't want to associate with me anymore because I was saved and holy. I was lonely. But the difference between then and now was that I had God with me. God was always there to encourage me and give me strength, even when my faith faltered. He was what I had missing my whole life. Several weeks later, I was invited to church by a friend of mine. When I went there, the ambience of the church didn't look like the usual typical church, you know. But it made me curious to stay and know what was going on. And there I met a guy. Even when I was eventually told that he was the senior pastor, I still held my doubts. But this guy patiently walked with me through the steps of being a good Christian, even when I openly told him that I still had some addictions I was battling with. The hole in my heart was filled. I was happy with who I was and with the newfound faith. The rest is history. I ended up combining my music skills with my love for God, and the product was KingdomChild. I now worship God through my songs and the music that I produce. I've also developed a heart and passion for ministry because I feel like I'm finally using my talents to lead others from darkness towards the light, which is God. I am Kelvin Zuze, aka KingdomChild. I am loved by God, and I am a child of His kingdom.